Welcome back to the channel. In this one I want to have a quick look at the Frog SF2000. Should you buy this in 2023? But first, I want to address the elephant in the room. The Miyoo Mini Plus. If you followed my guide, you probably picked one of these up cheap already. In which case, don't even consider this. Stop watching the video now. But if you're on the market for a cheap handheld, and it really is the most budget of the budget is what you need to buy, should you consider the Frog SF2000? Well, there's a lot of videos on YouTube where people are saying this is the best purchase you can make for $20, and they're giving it a lot of, there's a lot of caveats. There's also a little bit too much support for this device in my view. It seems that most of the reviewers seem to be giving excuses to it. It's only $20. What can you expect for $20? This is really good for $20. Actually, it's not that great. So, build quality wise, I've got to put it to them. The main case feels sturdy enough, but everything rattles. Looking on the bottom of it, you see that? You see the white light shining out? The backlighting? Literally, if you played this thing in the dark, light shines out every single pore, through the lights, through the buttons. You'll see it through the tops of the case. Shines through the back here as well, look at that. This is very, very cheaply put together. You get what you pay for. Now, the only highlight of this for me is the screen itself. It's really nice, it's really bright, it's really vibrant. The downside is, there's no brightness controls, so it's full brightness or nothing. So, you can actually play it outdoors, but you can't play it in even dim lighting or in the dark because you'll be absolutely blinded by the amount of light coming out of the thing. Buttons wise, there's a lot of reviews saying the buttons are actually pretty good because they're big. They are not that good. The D-pad itself is quite stiff. I've not really used the stick because it's just in the wrong place for me. But what I will say is, yeah, like I say, the screen is really good. The volume control on the bottom, that's off just now. Now let's just try to see if I can get up to just on. So that's the lowest setting I managed to get out of it. And then it just jumps up like exponentially. I mean, at the loudest setting, that's excruciating. So if you're in a darkened room, you're just trying to get a balance. It's really difficult getting something that's just the right volume. But anyway, so the volume. The speaker itself's pretty good and the sound quality that comes out is okay, albeit excruciatingly loud at the loudest setting. But you can probably see this happening on screen where you can see the screen refresh and it seems to go diagonal as well. So it's horrible diagonal line and you can even see it when it fades in. We'll put a little bit of a metal slug just so you can see. You might get a little bit of this. Buttons themselves, getting diagonals is a little bit rubbish. You know, try to shoot down now and it won't let me do it. Now, like I say though, the screen itself, very nice. Buttons feel cheap as chips. Feel really bad quality of the buttons. Not impressed with this at all. So if you mash the two buttons at the bottom, you can get to a screen where you can quit, load, make a save. And what can I say? It's difficult to really big this up. There's been so many videos saying how good this is going to be, how there's going to be custom hardware, or sorry, custom firmware for it. There isn't custom firmware yet that I've seen. What there is the stock firmware that it comes loaded with, version 1.4, which when it ships in that version, it's unplayable. Game Boy's about the only games that will actually play almost okay. Most other games are just absolute trash. It's so hard to play. So you can download version 1.5 of the firmware from Datafrog's website and install that, and that improves some games a little bit. But there is still this issue which appears to not be addressed in most of the videos, but if you look online, a lot of the games will run at about half speed, and if you then quit the game and load the game a second time, it runs okay. Now I think quite a lot of the YouTubers that have done videos on this, that's the footage they've been showing when the second time they've loaded the game, because the footage looks okay. I'm not sure how they've managed to fix the refresh rate issues, and I'll try and show you that by going to try and find a game that I think I know does this. Right, here we go. Now we know this will run terrible because it's a Super Nintendo game that really taxes the system itself. And we'll see really how bad this actually runs. Now, version 1.4 and 1.5 of the firmware, it's nigh on unplayable. I'm running 1.6. And what I'll do is I'll share a link if anyone's interested. Contact me via a message. I'll try and send you the link, because trying to download the version 1.6 from their website is nigh on impossible. I tried for over a week to download the firmware and it would always fail. So I managed to get a link from someone who'd managed to download it, and I've backed it up as well because they didn't want to share it with too many people. As you can see, it's clearly frame skipping a bit to play this game. But what we're going to see here is typical of what you'll see on this handheld. So there's clearly quite a lot of frame skipping going on there. So we'll get a speech bubble coming up on the screen in a second. Now after this, oh, isn't that strange? Now I've got some other footage I'll cut over and show you what it does on occasion, but as you can see, this is not running at full speed. Now if you do the usual, quitting out, in fact what happens if you just go to this menu and then go back in, it will speed up. Still not 100% though. Yeah, it's not doing the same horrible refresh it was doing previously. I'll have to show you that, where the whole screen just flickers like crazy. Now I do have footage of that. We tested this outside. As you can see, this is not running at full speed. It's horrible. So if I quit the game, great example, load the game again, we'll probably find it runs a lot better. Does that mean you should buy this though? Absolutely not. Now if you get one of these cheap enough and you only want to play Game Boy games, Game Boy Color, stuff like that, it might be worth buying. But really, there's better options. There you go. Look at that. Now this is typical of this in quite a few games I've found. This horrible refresh thing, where you can get past it once you've watched a couple of screens. Now I only picked this one because I know it will do it quite frequently. I'm not even sure how I'm going to make this into a video because just the performance is so mixed. I mean really, I like to create my videos, not do a lot of editing. I might take out the dead space in the video, but honestly, people need to see how bad this SF2000 really is. And I think the next thing people will probably say is, oh, you need to use a different SD card. Well, I have, and I'll show you that in a minute. So it's actually almost playable at this point. There's clearly some frame skip in place though. You still got some of that flickering, see that? The horrible refresh flickering. It's not a nice experience at all, I have to say. Anyway, what can I say? Should you buy an SF2000? My answer would be absolutely not. Just avoid it. Just avoid it. I mean, another good example. Let's just come out here. Here's an example. Let's go into over 1,000 games in here in Super Famicom. So if I click in here, oh, this interface. If you click in, it loads one of those favourites there, so you have to click in this way. So if I hold the scroll down button, it'll start to speed up. Great, because that's the quickest way to scroll through games. You can actually push right and it'll jump up faster, but if I do that, speeds up, and then it starts to slow down. It's almost like it's running out of memory and it can't keep up. Look, it's now struggling to scroll through the pages. That's pretty bad, isn't it? And that noise. Like a wet splosh every time you change ROM. That's just horrible. Puts me right off. Disgusting sound. So I've tried to put time into playing on this, and I just cannot motivate myself to play on it. It's just such a bad experience. I just find myself reaching for this all the time. This, on the other hand, well, I have seen these as cheap as about £15 via AliExpress, which made me think it was worth purchasing one. But actually, spending twice that, spending about £30, you can get one of these. It's a million times better. A million times better. You'll have a much better experience with the Miyoo Mini Plus. The other strange quirk of this device, if I can actually, I don't even know where the SD card is. The SD card that came with it was marked as a 16 gig SD card. But when I plugged it into my computer, it's a 32 gig. But it's only partitioned as a 16. The second 16 is just not in use. Now, it might be that it's actually a faulty card and they've rebranded them as 16s and disabled or formatted them down to 16 because the top end of the storage is corrupt. Don't know. I'll just take a backup of it and I've not touched it again. What I have put in this is I've put in a reasonable brand, which I picked up recently. The other thing is you can't get, I've got a thumbnail, can't eject the damn thing. So you got to push it even further into the case with a pen or something. So I've put a Kioxia 64 gig model in, which is, overkill. Again, you can't push the damn thing in, it won't go in. So you have to poke it in. So it's right recessed into the shell. It's almost like this could have had some build quality, but instead they just said to skimp. So yeah, even the Game Boy emulation I don't think is great. So for a start, you can't change the emulator, so it's a bit soft. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. It's not pixel perfect. It's been scaled up. So all the Tetris font and the two-player font are a little bit smoothed out, a bit blurry in fact. And the other thing I want to say is controls aren't great. So sometimes you can get a bit stuck. And hopefully you'll see that in a moment. Sometimes just restarting it can help, but it is just a bad device. It's doing okay just now actually. See, that's the problem. I found it so difficult to review this product because the performance is so hit and miss. Sometimes I'm moving the stick left and right quite quickly, which you do when you have to get to the later levels of this game, and it's actually responding now. But sometimes when you're using it, it's just unresponsive. Now there we see, that was a little bit unresponsive there. Just not the greatest experience. I'm going to say, find it difficult to review this product. I certainly couldn't recommend this product. Not even just for something to have as interesting to talk about with your friends. Like, look at this piece of junk. It really is a piece of junk. It's a waste of money. Now, I might change that view if there's a custom firmware that comes out and addresses a lot of these issues, but if you're on AliExpress or eBay or Temu and you see this and you think, oh, I might pick one of those up, don't. Honestly, really don't. Hunt around, spend your time, and pick up something like the Miyoo Mini Plus. Much better device. Much better device. You can get this for about £30 if you hunt around wisely online. What can I say? Just don't buy one. It's garbage. Buy the Miyoo Mini Plus instead. That's the video over. I can't review this anymore. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.